Hello and welcome to the Superintendent's Office, a show dedicated to spotlighting the great things in the public schools of Robinson County. I'm Tasha Oxendine. Today we have some very special guests joining us. We have Miss Rose Freeman. She's a family and consumer sciences teacher at Lumberton High School, and she teaches culinary and hospitality education. Also joining us is Summer Kate. Summer is a senior at Lumberton High School, and she's in the Pro Start program. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You look so professional in your culinary outfits today. Ms. Freeman, tell me a little bit about the Pro Start program. What does it entail?
The Pro Start program has the curriculum developed through the National Restaurant Association, and it's part 1 and part 2. The children study the culinary aspect as well as the hospitality aspect. I have had students in the past that have gone on to the culinary and hospitality field and are working in that area right now.
How long has Lumberton High School had this program?
We've had this program about 8 years. 9 years ago, we were invited by DPI to begin Pro Start, which Pro Start has been in existence for about 20 years. But because we have the Interstate 95, it was an excellent idea because of the restaurants and the hotels opening up.
So it's a great opportunity for our district to funnel students out into the hospitality industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Exactly.
Summer, how did you decide to get into this profession and career?
Well, I used to like going in the kitchen with my grandma and mom to cook, and then I fell in love with baking, so I want to open up my own business. That
sounds wonderful. And what business would it be?
I want to open up a pastry shop.
Oh, and that's something that is so needed in Robinson County. Is it a popular class, Ms. Freeman?
It is. For example, this year we had, just first semester, we had to turn away about 16 of the 31 students because it was just too many to handle. Our classroom is a commercial kitchen. It's actually a restaurant, front of the house, back of the house.
Wow. So it's everything that a student needs to know about working in a restaurant.
Oh, exactly. We study ServSafe, and they can actually become ServSafe certified. And they have to follow procedures, temperatures, just like in a real restaurant.
So when the students are coming in, are you looking for a certain type of student, or are they coming in green? You have students coming in they don't know anything about cooking?
Both. We have students that have never even turned a washing machine on to wash aprons, never even turned a burner on to saute onions. So we have all aspects.
And so is it just one Pro Start class, or do you have a level that's graduated for the, people starting out and then the graduated students?
We have level 1, which I like to do first semester. Summer's in level 1, and then next semester we'll have level 2.
So you can progress on.
Mm-hmm. Level 2 is more complicated cooking procedures. And during level 2 is when we visit the college campuses that offer hospitality and culinary degrees.
Wonderful. And where are some of those campuses at?
Well, right here in Robinson County at Robinson Community College.
Mm-hmm.
Just Friday we had a representative from Johnson & Wales come in. Fayetteville Tech, we take field trips there. They also offer the degree.
Wow.
We've also been to Sand Hills. They offer the culinary degree there.
Mm-hmm. And I understand that your class is also doing some functions on campus. Tell us a little bit about that. So they're getting some experience right there.
Yes. The 18th we have to do a function for the project graduation committee, and we're always doing things for school. October 25th, we're doing a luncheon to raise money for domestic violence. October 26th is Make a Difference Day, and this is Domestic Violence Month. Normally we do breast cancer and donate proceeds, but this year we've chosen domestic violence.
And what will you be selling? Are you selling just pastries, or are you selling sandwiches? What are some of the things that the students can take part in?
Oh, we sell full lunches. And normally when we do lunch at school, we sell 80 to 150 plates. We have a large staff at our school.
And when you're talking about, are you doing rice and meat, or are you doing?
We do an entree. We haven't decided on the menu yet, but our menu for the 18th for project graduation, they want spaghetti, but Summer has looked for some other recipes, and we're sampling.
And these look absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
This is a very detailed menu here, is it not?
Pretty much. I let Summer choose some things, and she and her classmates made these this morning.
And what are some of the other things that the students are doing in the class?
They do knife skills, different cooking procedures, definitely temperature control, and cooking temperatures we just finished up. And we're on safety right now, and math, which they don't like math, but I tell them math is in everyday living.
Tell me, how are some of the ways that they're utilizing math in the class? Are they weighing things? What are some of the things they're doing?
They have to weigh, they have to measure, they have to increase and decrease recipes. For example, if Summer found a recipe, this only serves 4, but for our dinner, our lunch on the 18th, she and her class have to feed 35 people.
Wow.
So she's going to have to increase recipes.
So she's going to have to pull out the math card.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Summer, have you taken the knife safety classes or the knife class? What are some of the things that you're learning with? Are you learning how to fillet meats, or what are some of the things that you're learning?
We haven't started that yet. We did the knife skills, and then I've took Foods 1 and 2, which you learn knife skills and serve safe and stuff like that in there, and temperature and a little more.
Were these new things that you learned, or was it totally new to you, or was it things that you possibly knew from home, or most of the students might have known before?
Most of the things we're learning now I've already learned because I took Foods 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So most of it, like serve safe, is just going back over it for me.
Does it make a difference for the student, the safety component of it? I know we all know that, you shouldn't, have a pot boil over, and the importance of having something there to throw over. But what are some of the other key things that students are learning about safety in the kitchen?
Well, in ProStart, they do not have to have Foods 1 and 2. It's not a prerequisite. So some things I teach, Summer already knows, serve safe. But it's very important because kitchen can be a dangerous place. For example, just walking around with a knife, you've got to remember to point it down. Coming through with a hot pot, you have to say hot pot coming through, so you know that you have the right of way and everyone else has to move.
And there's also dangers with food contamination.
Oh,
I
yes.
just heard on the radio this morning with the salmonella outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you all spend focused on that, the importance of keeping the food, the right temperatures and everything?
We have already had that, but we constantly, we have to check temperatures, make sure your food is kept at a certain temperature. Serving hot food hot, serving cold food cold.
Do you also have, I know you're teaching the class, but sometimes do you have like food inspectors that come in or restaurant owners that come in to talk to the students about?
Yes, I have. We have an advisory committee through CTE. Mr. Herman Locklear, he is our director, and each area we have to have an advisory committee. So we have folks from the clothing industry, we have folks from the food industry, and I have people coming in and they talk about owning their own business. They also have to do job shadowing, and they have to do it in our area in food. So I have students that have worked in the restaurants that don't have a job, but they going through job shadowing, they've had an opportunity and people have hired them.
So that's key. If you might have a foot in the door from one of the persons on the advisory committee.
Exactly, and it's worked that way before.
Well, that makes a tremendous difference. This program is part of the Career and Technical Education program for the district, and I understand it's part of the hospitality pathway. Once the student completes this class, what kind of certification will they receive?
Well, Summer is going to work on a national certification through the National Restaurant Association. She has to work 400 paid hours, 200 volunteer hours, and she has to pass both her exams, level 1 and 2. And she will get her national certification.
And will that be in the district at Lumberton High, or is?
Oh no, that's a national. That comes from Chicago.
Okay, so she'll be doing that after she finishes and graduates.
Well, actually, when she finishes her last exam for level 2, she'll be able to get it then.
And Summer, I understand that you're also getting extra credit for working outside the class. Tell me a little bit about that.
You get you're considered an intern if you work outside of the class. I work at Bojangles, and you get a credit for working. You have to have 135 hours. You have to do an essay. You have to take a photo and turn in all your check stubs either weekly or every 2 weeks, and you'll get a credit for that.
And what kind of interactions are you having there in the classroom? Is it on the workplace? Is it really on-the-job experience that you can your boss might tell you to do something, you say, I know how to do that, or is it really making a difference for you to be working in, you know, while you're still in school?
It's making a difference. It's going to help in the long run. Then I'll know more about hospitality, and I'll be able to, it'll help me in the long run with my bakery.
She wants to get a culinary degree, baking and pastry degree.
And so how we have people that own pastries or bakeries right now, pastry businesses. What kind of difference would that degree make for them versus someone who just opens a bakery?
Well, if you don't have the experience and background holding foods, keeping the right temperature, you could easily make someone sick. And Summer would have all these rules and guidelines in place. And she would have her experience from my class, from college, and her job to help her.
With all that kind of experience and then the national certification, could Summer go out and immediately get a job at one of these national chains or get a job at a restaurant in New York?
Sure. Especially around here, many of our restaurants support ProStart. For example, Golden Corral gives millions of dollars a year to the ProStart program.
Wow.
And you could also get scholarships through the National Restaurant Association and the North Carolina Restaurant and Hospitality Association. And yes, she could get a job as a cook, a chef's assistant.
That makes a tremendous difference.
I think it does.
Well, we are getting ready to take a break, and when we come back, we will be looking and talking about the recipes that Miss Freeman and Miss Summer put together to make these beautiful dishes, and we might even get to sample them.
Okay.
Join us back with the Superintendent's office in just a minute. These
It's getting late, real late, and you have a lot of work to do. Your assignments are due in the morning, but you'll wait till the last day to do it. Instead of doing your work, you'll head for a party and forget all about your assignments. It's now 5:30 in the morning, and would you have time to finish your assignments after you partied so hard? I don't think so. Don't be a procrastinator. Do your homework.
WNCP Radio The Hawk is the place to go to hear about what's going on campus and for the hottest new music and the best shows. Listening online is super easy. All you have to do is go to uncp.edu, find WNCP Radio at the bottom of the scroll down menu, and click on the live link. With new shows every week, it's always a good time to listen. While you're listening, you should like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to always know what's happening with WNCP Radio The Hawk.
Welcome back to the Superintendent's office. I'm Tasha Oxendine. Joining us today, we have Miss Rose Freeman from Lumberton High School and Summer Cates, who they are both here with us today talking about the ProStart Culinary Arts program, which is being taught at Lumberton High. And today they have brought some special goodies. All right, these look like red velvet cupcakes. Could you tell us, Summer and Miss Freeman, what are some of the recipes that you brought today?
Summer?
We brought red velvet cupcakes with cream cheese, icing, and walnuts on top, and stuffed bell peppers topped with sour cream and tomatoes.
Oh, it looks beautiful. And you're talking about that you would like to go into, have your own pastry business or a bakery. Are these specialty cupcakes?
Not quite specialty cupcakes because I had help with them today, but they are delicious. They're red velvet, which has a lot of good stuff in it, and cream cheese made from scratch today in class.
What did it go into making these? I know that you baked them this morning. I think I talked to Miss Rose this morning, and you were at the store, right?
Yes, I had to get their groceries this morning.
So you were doing a quick turnaround.
Yes, she had less than an hour and a half, she and her classmates, to make this, and they also had to make taco soup.
Wow. So that's a pretty good turnaround for a presentation such as this. Was it hard, Summer?
It was stressful, but we got it done.
I was telling Miss Freeman this morning, if I had had to prepare this and have it here today, it wouldn't have happened. I would have been up making it last night. So I'm not. I might need to take your class, Miss
All
Freeman.
right, we'll squeeze you in.
So what are some of the things what's special in this recipe for the cupcakes? I know cupcakes are big now. That's big business.
Oh, yes.
Do you watch the shows where they're doing all the competition, Summer?
I have, but I haven't been recently watching much TV, so I haven't been keeping up with TV.
Keeping up those grades, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we have competitions in our class too, Miss Oxendine.
Really? Tell me a little bit about those.
One of our competitions from last year, we had a cheesecake bake-off. And in my classroom, students work in groups, so I had outside judges come in, and the winners get $25, or they'll get food for a special lab. And in level 2, that's what we do our cook-offs, and we have normally have a chicken cook-off, whatever my mind pops up with while I can't sleep at night.
That's wonderful. So it offers them a real world experience
Oh, yes,
of that being on the hot plate to have to cook it in a hurry.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about the bell pepper dish. Now, what did you say it was called today?
It's stuffed bell peppers. We topped them with sour cream and tomatoes. They have in it meat, which is ground hamburger meat, rice, onions, garlic, tomato sauce, and salt and pepper.
It's a beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
That is. Tell me how it was made.
We cut the peppers off, the top off, and then we took all the seeds out and threw that away, and then we cooked the meat, cooked the rice, and put all the seasoning in it together and stuffed it and put it in the oven, and then put the sour cream and tomato on it and capped it off with the little
So
tops.
would this be considered sort of a Spanish dish, or is it a traditional American dish?
It could be considered a Spanish dish. You could even add Spanish seasonings, Mexican seasonings, peppers, especially hot chili peppers. Any kind of pepper would spice it up.
This presentation is beautiful. Is that a key factor in the class as well? Tell me a little bit about how much time is put into teaching the students about the presentation.
Well, I tell them people eat 3 times, with their eyes, with their nose, and then they finally taste it. So presentation is even more important, especially in a restaurant, than even you may think how the food tastes to the customers.
And is that a hard thing to do, Summer?
Not really. It's easy, but then again, it can be stressful.
Depends
on what you're making.
I see on the shows how they're running out of time, and they've got their towels and they're wiping everything off to make it look presentable. Is it difficult?
It's difficult, but I'm ready for it.
I tell them if you take pride in your work, it's very important. And for example, when she did her cupcakes, I told her to make sure some red was showing. Cheyenne decorated the cupcake. She used a pastry bag with a star tip, left a little red showing, and Logan chopped the nuts, and that was part of their presentation.
And I would have never thought about that to leave, because when I'm decorating cupcakes, I always just cover the whole top. I would never thought about leaving a little of the cupcake so you can see what kind it is.
Exactly.
Not to mention, it really makes it pop to see the red on it.
And you asked for color, so that was her assignment, to find colorful recipes.
And how long did it take you to pick these 2 recipes?
I picked out bell peppers when she told me the same day, and then I was going to do a rainbow cake, but I found red velvet cupcake. I thought about red velvet cupcakes, so I made.
And red velvet's so popular now.
Oh, yes.
I mean, cupcakes are huge. I watch cupcake shows, and it's fun. Tell me about this recipe. Is it just a standard cupcake, or did you do a special, what do you call it, insert inside?
No, we didn't have time to insert anything today. Her recipe was a little different than the traditional red velvet recipe. All her dry ingredients were put in with the flour, and are all wet ingredients were put in first. So it's a little different than traditional red velvet cupcakes, but you are correct. Red velvet cupcakes are very popular.
And this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you.
When you're talking about mixing dry and do you do all the sifting and everything, is that really important to sift?
It is, because air is a leavening agent, just like baking soda, baking powder, and it helps your baked goods to rise.
These are beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. Ms. Freeman, I watch some of these cooking shows sometime, and you see people scrambling, and they're getting bizarre ingredients, and they don't know if it's platanos or bananas or whatever. Tell me about your class. Is it calm, and everybody's sitting calm, or do you have some days where people are running with their apron?
I don't like everything calm. I like a little chaos. One of my fellow co-workers, she said that she couldn't do what I do. She likes every student to be doing the same thing, and I don't. It doesn't matter to me if all 16 are doing something completely different.
That's a lot of organization in your mind.
In my mind, yes. Not necessarily on paper, but in my mind.
Does it stress you out at all? I mean, do you ever have a moment, and we don't necessarily want people to know this, but do you ever have a moment when something's on fire and, you know, people are running? And
Oh, I'm good in emergencies. I'm really good in emergencies, so it doesn't bother me.
Summer, how about you? Are you ready for that challenge
I'm ready
of?
for it. We're going to dive in head first.
Okay.
And how old are you, Summer?
I'm 18.
You're 18, so you're very young.
Yes, ma'am.
She's also very mature for her age. Very, very mature.
You're working at Bojangles now, but do you aspire to maybe get an internship in a bakery?
Yes, ma'am. I want to get an internship in a bakery when I go to college.
And would you mind telling us where you hope to go to college?
I want to go to either the Art Institute or Johnson & Wales.
Oh. And what are some special things about those institutions that you want to go to those colleges?
Well, I was always told the Art Institute is one of the best schools, and then Johnson & Wales just came out and talked to us, and I liked what she said, so I want to go there.
So we're trying to arrange a tour to go to Johnson & Wales, which I have done in the past.
And that's a great opportunity for the students to see what
Oh,
they're...
yes, it is.
When you're talking about students getting out of the classroom, I know that you have to keep in contact with some of the students that you've
yes,
graduated. You said this program's been at Lumberton High for 9 years. And tell me about some of your success stories that are out there working behind the apron.
Oh, okay. I have a student, Kiara. When she was in ProStart, she didn't like the cooking aspect at all, but she loved the hospitality aspect. So she went to Central, and she has a degree in hospitality. And in fact, she was even working at the college. She's been offered several jobs with food service companies, and she's in Durham right now working.
Wow. What are some of the other success? You have a lot of students that are working in local restaurants?
Yes, right here in Lumberton we have several. I even have students in Charlotte that are working in restaurants that went to Johnson & Wales.
Oh, that's great. So where do you foresee, do you see this program expanded? I understand that the program is only offered at Lumberton and Fairmont High,
Yes,
is that correct? Tell me, why is that?
Well, we offer in 2 class periods. To be able to fully get through the curriculum, you can do it in 1, but really 2 periods is what you need.
And if people wanted to know, if you have students out there that are seeing the show today, what would they need to do to, even if they were in lower grades, what would they need to do to prepare themselves to maybe enter the ProStart program?
Well, if you come into high school, it would be a really excellent idea to take Foods 1 and 2. And if while you're in middle school, you could take some of the business class, because it offers you a lot of curriculum that you're going to need in ProStart, because they have to do a mock business later on, and they have to do menu design, pricing, percentage of their food, what percentage would be profit. They have to know all that.
Do you do little field trips like that with the students? Do you
Oh,
go into the
yes.
grocery store? Tell me a little bit about that.
Let's see, when did we go on a trip? Wednesday?
Last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday, yes. Tomorrow we're going to have a pumpkin carving contest. So they chose their pumpkins. they wanted to go to several restaurants in the area, so they went to the Japanese restaurant, and they had to be very observant and notice how the chef kept the food warm, and procedures we do in class. We go to local restaurants. During October, we do sustainability, and we even go out to the farms and buy collards, or sometimes the farmer will bring them to us. And we try to get as many local foods as we can. And in November we do a meal for the staff for American History Month, and in February we do Black History Month, and we do sustainability, trying to get local products. We sell collard sandwiches.
That's
which the staff
wonderful.
loves.
And that makes a difference to instill in the students the importance of that local farmer and supporting our local farmers here in the county.
And I know it's not in our county, but in December we'll be making a trip to the Raleigh Farmers Market, because they have a big selection, and even more in December. And they have to do speak to the vendors, even talk about Christmas trees. Okay, you can make lots of money with Christmas trees. It doesn't have anything to do with food, but they have to speak to the vendors, and there are lots of vendors there that sell food.
And Summer, how hard is it? Is it exciting to go to the grocery store, and do you have your own little budget and a calculator, or how does that go?
We write all the prices down, and you have to keep it under a certain budget. It can become stressful.
Do you have a time frame, or?
You don't have a time frame, but it can become stressful. You're shopping with other people, and I like to shop alone.
And you have to share that time to pick out what you need in the store, and so that's kind of stressful.
Yes.
It's stressful when I'm shopping with my own money.
Okay.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to tell me about the program that I didn't ask you about?
Yes. If a student takes Foods One, ProStart, the community colleges in North Carolina have an articulation agreement with the schools. For example, when Summer has taken Foods 2, she passes with a 93, she can get a credit for that class.
Wow.
If she takes her SurfSafe exam and passes, that's another class she doesn't have to take. If she takes ProStart and finishes with a 93 or better on her exam, that is 3 classes she doesn't have to take at the North Carolina Community College.
So it's really opening the door for the students, getting their
yes.
foot in the door at the college, and saving them money.
Oh yes, definitely.
That's wonderful. Well, I appreciate both of you coming out today. The recipes look fabulous, and I know that you are so proud of your students.
Oh, I am.
Today, thank you for joining us. That's about all the time we have. I'd like to thank Miss Rose Freeman and Summer Cates. Miss Rose teaches at Lumberton Senior High School, and Summer is a senior at Lumberton High, soon graduating, and I look forward to going out and seeing your pastry, your bakery, and trying some of those wonderful cupcakes in your bakery there. With 24,000 talented students in the public schools of Robinson County, there's always something great going on in the district. So be sure to follow us on the web for school news and the Aware magazine. There's great stuff from all of the schools. Also on Facebook and on Twitter, there's all kind of updates every day. And if the opportunity arises for you to read to a child, do so, because you never know what kind of difference it'll make. Thank you for joining us. Have a great week.